What is up, everybody? This is Tikoy, also known as Richard, getting you another casted game as French versus French. It's a mirror matchup of Tikoy and myself versus Malukno. Pretty nice guy. We had a quick chat in the beginning. He said, like, good luck, have fun, and sounded like a pretty friendly, nice guy. So what we're going to be looking at is the two different strategies. It's a mirror matchup, but we chose to do two different things. One thing to remember from as a French, you want to get the six villagers onto sheep, your sec or your next villager that comes out to build your house, and then your gold mine. And then I like starting with a double scout. When you specifically on this map, it is called Boulder Bay. We'll primarily have a choke point right here, a choke point right here on top, basically for the market. So if you have to wall this off or wall a front off here or try and secure the relic, if you're playing like against the Holy Roman Empire or Delhi Sultanate, they will be trying to go for these relics. But you know, all we're trying to do right now is get as much information as possible, and especially in on this map, you'll probably find a few sheep right here. Sometimes they're down here. The second scout, check the back of your base so you actually find these few stray sheep. There is always a few. And a nice way to find out if the map is going up or down, as the French, you can see the marker on both sides. But what I'm doing is like I take my first scout and I bind it to control one like this, right? You can see there, like I said, usually around the corner here. There we found those three, four sheep right there. Now we're just going down to check the front here and then we're moving back. But I did bind it to one. You can see these idle villagers now on my side. I forgot to take my second scout and bring those food back fast enough. Usually the first sheep is very, very close by. You can just click it and right click close to the villagers. But at this point, like personally, I hate water. I hate going boats. I hate the management of boats and you know how difficult it is to end a game with boats. Yes, you can have water control, but I don't like it. It's just personal. I don't have anything against the game, and French is pretty strong on water with the hulks, but I decided to go with the forward mode. So I just want to explain the strategy right here, right? Each shore-based fish. If I had to, let's say, run out of sheep, I have the forward sheep right now, good, all good and dandy. I have the gold mine ready, and I have the first house. So my population is under control. My town is able to produce villages. I'm going to start doing that shortly, and I went for a forward mode. Each one of these shore-based fish, right? They are 1,000 food. Whereas if I have to look at the deer, let's say I put the mill down here to go for the deer, it's 350 food each. Yes, they do gather quite quickly, and shore-based fish also. But this deer, you have to maybe use a few royal knights to just get the boar down. French is able to farm the boar as a food source. So let's say you pop that down right here. That's 2,000 on the boar and about let's say another 2,000 on the deer, right? So 4,000 food right there. But I can just use 25 because you have a reduced cost as the French, right? To build these resource buildings like the mill, the lumber camp, and the mining camp. They're 25 wood each. For other factions, they're 50. So I used the first scout to kind of harass this dock. So that was just a lucky find as I was scouting for sheep. The villagers do have a high damage. They have 6 damage, just a little bit low health, no armor, and the scout as well, no armor, just very high health. So the two villagers against the scout, we're trying to get this one villager down, and at the same time, the second scout's coming in to kind of assist with harassing this villager from getting this dock up. So we did not go for a dock. We went for the mill so we can get the shore-based fish. Very, very comfortable source of food. You can see they just drop off 10. You can see the villagers on the sheep. They also drop off 10. A very important thing is to get the mill out very soon. And as soon as you have the 200 gold, you usually okay. So 6 villagers on food, 3 to 4 villagers on gold. That's it. Then you're progressing up to 11 villagers. And once you hit 11 villagers, you take 4 of them, start building your landmark, and 2 onto wood. and then the rest you start investing into wood. That's like French is very linear when it comes to their game style. If you practice this, you know you'll get really good. I wanted to go for the forward food, and the nice thing here, if I just open the all here again, you can see all the shore-based fish that way, all the shore-based fish this way. You just pop down a mole, you know, as you go along, as these food sources start finishing up, and you'll just keep trickling in a lot of food very safely. Um, until he decides to build hulks. So do have it's not going to work every single game, but it is a very quick and easy way. You know, if you're going for early all in um, to get food supplied. So let's hop over to Malugnu's perspective, what he decided to do. Okay, so from the get-go, you know, we have his scout here at the back, and we did try and get the dock down. We didn't get anything done there. He is pushing these villagers forward um, to kind of chase my scout down. My scout was low right here, almost died. And he's scouting me out, trying to see what I'm doing. He did see the school of cavalry. But at this point in stage, like if you're the enemy, right, and you're not chasing that feudal age, it does give you a disadvantage because firstly, your only upgrade is forestry and textiles, right? To get into your archery ranges, your stables, and even if you get your dock out, your hulks, or even your trading ships, that's all in only possible once you know hit the feudal age. So it's fine going heavy on wood, but you want to make sure you get that standard 6 villagers on food, so you can keep the villager production up. You can see he's struggling to keep that food, so you can only produce right now with 3 villagers 40 food per minute. You know, there it goes up to 50 once they drop off, but it's a very low food supply, and you're struggling to get those villagers up, right? So get 6 on food, get the first 2 3 villagers that come out after that to build a house, and then after the house the gold mine. And once that's done, you know, you can go into the heavy wood. Just get that standard start. You can even go 2 on gold. You know, if you don't use any gold with 2 villagers on gold, right? You can go into the feudal age, into the castle age with heavy wood and get a water control. That's very much possible. If you want to go for a water control, I would also suggest like take 2 or 3 of these villagers, get them onto stone, and then when you hit feudal age, you're actually able to build stone walls. You're going to force your opponent to play for feudal age. So let's say, you know, let's have a quick look at my perspective again. I'm already starting to train Royal Knights. It's very standard of the French to expect the Royal Knight rush. It is what they are good at. It is what makes them strong, especially when they are supported by a few spearmen or a few archers, because the archers counter spearmen, cavalry counters archers, and spearmen counters cavalry. So there's like a little cycle, and it's about 2 to 3 times its multiplier damage versus different units. So you can see I have 29 damage right here, but I would do more damage if it is against a archer, and a spearman then would do more damage against a royal knight. So the scouts here, I get another villager. I use your scouts, guys. You know, the scout is always bound to 1. The second one is bound to 3, like you can see there. I use control 1 and control 3 to bind them. My town center, I bind to control 2, so you can actually click on these to select them. And any military buildings, I bind to control 7. So let's say I hear something happening, I press 3, double tap 3, I can immediately hop back to them and see what's happening here, so I can control my units. But while I'm here, I'll press 2, I can still train villagers, or I can press 7 if I want to go back to my base, H if you want to select your town center as well, or 2 because I bound it to 2. But we're just jumping back and forth, trying now to figure out. You know, we did get the harassment. We couldn't harass anymore because he did build the outpost right here. So we take the double scouts. Now we're trying to see, okay, is there any more docks? We've already seen 3 docks, so we know he's going very, very heavy into water. There's no way I'm even touching water after seeing 3 docks. Now I'm using the scouts to go around and try and find out what landmark did he build, because there's two as the French. You can use the School of Cavalry or the trading building. Can't remember the name right now. You can check. Tech trees. That is the Chamber of Commerce. There we go. 30% more um, resources to any market or docks. So what you can do if you have water control like this and you want early control and you do have this protected, let's say you build a few hulks from his perspective, this dock right here, you can right click the market because you can see it right here as the French, right? So you right click that market, you get 2 or 3 or even 4 of these trading ships out, and it's an enormous amount of resources that you get from those trading ships. It would really have made a big difference in the game. Because I have no water control. You can even take a fishing boat like this and just send it along the shoreline here. And if you press shift and right click as you go along here, just as deep as possible, that fishing ship will follow that route without you having to micro it. I sacrificed my scouts here because I was trying to, stop this or interrupt the wood right here. So we were annoying on the docks here. We were annoying on the wood here, forcing him to go into spearmen and investing resources. But we're already on the feudal age for about 4 to 5, well, let's say 3 minutes right now, right? Resources are still very much balanced, but he's only starting the landmark right now, and we are, you know, already sitting on 7 cavalry and archer. So imagine I decided I wasn't sure how aggressive he's going to be on the spearman because I did see that with the scouts. So I decided to kind of play it safe. But imagine this arrives in your base and you have no walls, you have no defense going up, right? So from his perspective, as a side note, he did wall up here, but which is a very very nice wall. If this was a stone wall, it would have been very difficult because you are securing this gold supply, the stone and the gold there. I'm going to run out of resources. If this had to be defended with a stone wall and he had to play economy into a castle age, I was going to have a really hard time this game because I have, there's one little trickle of gold down here. I have this forward gold right here, but that might last me, you know, if I manage my army correctly, I can use that, yes, to my advantage. But then he already has water control. He already has all of this resources under control. Get a second town center out, and with a double town center, just boom into Imperial Age. There's no way I was going to keep up with that. So we do have our blacksmith out. We're getting the siege engineering, the steeled arrow, and the fitted leatherwork, as well as the iron undermesh. We're getting all the upgrades because, right now we have enough on wood, we have enough on food. We have the villagers on the shore-based fish not struggling, not having to reposition or run around. And like he was doing right here at the back, keep moving your lumber camps forward so you can actually have less idle time for the villagers running back and forth. And the Mulugnu gets the feudal age, and we're already progressing into sieging this wall. We had the archers to actually deny the villagers from getting the outpost up. But like I said, if there was a stone investment here and a stone wall, whole different ball game because they don't have siege capabilities. This is worst case scenario for him now because the defense has been broken. We don't know how many spearmen and stuff has been put out. We see the level 1 here with the scout. And now we're just trying to be as aggressive as possible with this army lead we have. We see the spearmen, we're not scared of them because we have the archers to use. And right now the spearmen are in the outpost. The outpost doesn't really have any special advantages. You can get the fortify upgrade with stone. But your archers, your spearmen, your men-at-arms, any infantry can train siege rams with that siege engineering, right? So I'm using some microing here. I'm getting some of them to burn the ships. Um, Sorry about that. It was just my phone. And I am using the cavalry to siege down this while the ram is getting up. So you have very high siege capability against buildings with cavalry, but not against stone walls. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, or how the game works. Let me just put my phone on silent, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So we have the ram out. The ram is going to deal with these docks, and right now we're pushing forward. We're trying to, go in for the kill right here. One thing to note: if you're sitting on this much food, what is the plan here, right? So you have food, you have wood, you have very low gold. I'm just pausing so you can think for a moment, right? If I have this much food, either I need to have 4 or 5 barracks training out, spearmen like it's the 4th of July, or you're gonna have to get all of those villagers in to kind of wall off, use your stone, or if you don't have stone, use any sort of defense to go up, build outposts or something to avoid this from getting into your base, right? So we know about the double dock. We kind of take the ram with us. He's going for the second dock here. And also my units that was bound. Remember, the military was bound to 7. So while I'm on these cavalry right here, they're bound. I get the villagers here. I quickly pick them off, and now we go for another ram. We have those archers assisting us to pick off more villagers. He did not get the textiles upgrade, so it is quite easy to pick them up. And look here, right? These knights want to go for the archers, so I'm using the knights as defense, and I'm getting the archers onto the ram. They don't do much extra damage because this is armored units. They have the extra um, ranged armor. So the archers don't do anything here. So it's just better to keep them on the ram. And I'm using the knights to defend. I'm using the spearmen to pick up the spear. Sorry, the archers to pick up the spearmen. The royal knights to defend my archers while they are producing siege engines. And let's just go into the global view. You can see he does have a double stable. He has 3 barracks, really, really nice, and that did give him a really solid defense because you can see how quickly those spearmen and stuff is coming out. And he did start using that food and that wood that he did have. So really good call there. The outposts, like I said earlier, some sort of defense because of this army here. And villagers do have the capability of sieging down the rams and stuff. He has the spearman bracing the charge right there, and I'm just trying to invest as much or get as much out of this raid as possible. So you can see I'm microing the archers, trying to split his army up. So the archers are fighting the even kill the random stray sheep. I'm sorry, sheep. But yeah, that really, really good call from him. Really good investment of resources to get the triple barracks out. But if this was done earlier, it would have been less harmful against him because he had to invest all of that food and wood into, getting that defense up, right? So now we have the units here. We did get the 3 docks down. We do get the opportunity now to go into the castle age. So we take the few villagers here. I have the market, which I always bind to 8. So I can just press 8 and then buy and sell any resources I need to kind of stabilize my economy. And any extra units I have right now, I am putting back. If this was you, right, with that army that you just killed my army, would it be a good call for you to raid the enemy right now? I would say no, because he was fighting you with royal knights and archers, and he did see spearmen. So obviously on my side, that's what I'm going to do again, right? So if that's you, you need to have mass spearmen with archers, and specifically rather crossbowmen. So you need castle aid so you can get these crossbowmen to deal with the Royal Knights, and you need the Spearmen to deal with the Royal Knights. And the Spearmen would deal with the Royal Knights, the Archers would deal with the Royal Knights, and with the Spearmen or the Archers on my side. Sorry, I talked a bit confusing there. But very shortly, I have my army already back at you know almost 20 units. Um, and I must give credit, like Malugnu, he played very well here. Just a little side note, a little cultural twist here. I am from South Africa, so we say Mulungu. That's a Zulu word that means white man. So if you Mulugnu, it was a nice wordplay in my opinion on that. I'm not sure if he's South African, but yeah, he has the villagers now getting back onto gold. He has the heavy wood again. He has some stone production happening right there. I think he was going for a second town center or maybe even walling. But we are amassing a big army again right now. Because we went into Castle Age, you can see now the Royal Knights have increased damage. They automatically get the decarbonization upgrade. Damascus Steel is what you'll get if you go into Imperial Age. Um, so there's the forward lumber mill microing. We didn't go more than 11 really. We actually pulled a few villagers to get some barracks productions up so we can get spearmen because we did see on his side there was a few horsemen. I'm not sure if he trained royal knights, so I just wanted to make sure I'm prepared for the next fight to be as strong as possible. So I get my army ready here because I know that's the only point of entry because it's not up here or down here and no stone wall or anything. You could have gone for like a stone wall right here. Just like all of these villagers, get a market out, buy as much stone as you can, and just get this. Like 200 stone would probably be enough, but let's get a stone wall down here, which will force me into siege, which will give you a bit more time to actually get resources in. 2,000 food again. This is Imperial Age quality food. You need 1,200 and 600 gold to go to the Castle Age. So just make sure you're hitting those especially in mirror matchups, you're hitting those thresholds and getting those ages up because as the French, um, you can fight in the feudal age, but because I'm already in Castle Age for this long, if you're not expecting a big rush, you should invest all of that food into, army and get as many barracks out as possible because it's going to be very hard for you to go into a second age. Keep training villagers and, just fast track them onto food, onto gold because you know you have a very stable food supply, as Malugnu did with the fish. You can see my villagers there. I'm just extending my moles down to just keep enough distance between the shore-based fish and the mills. So they're just having a blast here. This production of food right here is very, very satisfying, and I've never done this before, and it actually worked really much in my favor. If there was a hulk or two out from his side, to kind of harass my shore and stop me from getting access to the shore-based fish, it would have been very difficult because then I would have had to go for farms. I would have had to reinvest all of this villagers into wood. But yeah, now we're very ready. We have the spearmen starting to roll in to deal with any cavalry from his side. You can see the siege workshop training the main mill. And we have the market to stabilize, the blacksmith getting those +2 upgrades. So now we're at a really, really good point here. And I wanted to make sure when I go for the next attack, it's going to be a GG attack. Um, and also don't underestimate your enemy. Like he's getting the castle upgrade right now. So just to compare, my spearman has 11 damage, 2 defense, and 1 range defense. His spearman has 8 damage, 0 melee defense, 0 range defense. But the 8 damage is just because you automatically um, she doesn't even get that upgrade because he doesn't have a blacksmith. There's the blacksmith coming out now, and immediately that same spearman has 10 damage. So just because he built the blacksmith, he already has that extra damage happening right now. Um, so yeah, the forward army was good because he was protecting the villagers. But at this point, like I'll show you the key bindings. That's four, that's three, that's five. So if I press three in this fight, I'm selecting my royal knights. I press five, I'm selecting my spearmen. Four, I'm selecting my archers. And like that, I can micro my army into position. So I actually have the right units attacking the right units to counter the units in a proper way, even though it's an all-in fight, right? So his whole military has been, destroyed here immediately. We use that siege engineering upgrade, and we're going to start training rams. There we go. They call it the little ram dance, especially when you select all of the villagers, because the other villagers will just keep running around like you see right here. So it's a little ram dance. They just keep trying to find a spot and running around. I bring some villagers with to get a keep up. Also, one just extra pro tip when you are playing the French. If you know the game is going for a late game, please just get a keep up on your units, even if it, on your military buildings, even if the keep is just like on like three or four of these buildings. Like if this food has to be harvested, and you get a keep down right here, all of these barracks, possibly no, just the barracks, would have been in that influential zone. You see this orange zone, and that gives you a 20% discount on all your military training costs. These horsemen becomes virtually the cost of a spearman or an archer for the same unit, just because they are in that vicinity. And then you have another upgrade that you can get with a keep. I'll show you once it's done. That reduces that cost by another 5%. So that is really nice, specifically for late game, to just keep rolling out units as the French, especially when you have a very stable economy. I wouldn't call this stable because it is very easy to harass it. But what you can do is get a few farms out, because the farms is a solid late game stable form of food if you have the wood capacity. But then you had to invest like 30 to 40 into wood so you can actually get that unit production and farms out. So we have the second ram out now. We have the mangonel assisting with dealing with any mass of units that he's producing, and just going for while waiting for a GG or trying. You see, he did actually go for a second onset. Good job on that, Malumi. Um, so it was going for the right strategies, but he was just very, very late on the feudal age, and I think that's what cost him the game, because he couldn't keep up with the amount of military and upgrades that was happening on our side. Um, and he had such a high water control. Literally, if I had to replay this game, a single Hulk down, you see the Hulk right here, they one-shot villagers, and you can spin them around to do more damages. Would have made a big difference to this game. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and please keep commenting or liking if you have anything to say or anything you would like to see us do differently. And I hope you have a